From a lecturer in college, teaching kids how to become construction workers with zero trading experience whatsoever to a 100k funded trader in 6 months. In this video, we share the story on how my client Scott did exactly that. Pretty much dead on 6 months you've been with us, right?
Yeah, the last week of May is when I signed up. So yeah,
Mad.
just yeah, I'm there in the 6 month time limit. So
100%, 100%. So yeah, I guess really keep things nice and informal. Just again, want to understand your story and the sort of journey that you've been through. So I guess if you could start and give yourself a bit of an introduction for the listeners, and we can I guess initially find out how this all started for you.
okay, well, I'm Scott. I'm 48. I've my background, professional background, I've sort of had a range of practical jobs in my younger years. I then became a full-time college lecturer in the construction industry. I did about 12 years at a local college. A little while ago, I decided to move on from that and just got back into the world of working in that real world environment again, and sort of a string of kind of bit of site managing, project managing, and most recently, I've been the last sort of 4 years, I've been back working for myself, self-employed builder.
Okay. So very like polar opposite things to do in terms of construction and then trading. So how did that start for you? Was when you joined us, were you like completely fresh with trading? Had you ever traded before at all?
I was completely fresh. What happened in my case, so things happen for a reason, I suppose. I'd obviously I was a self-employed builder, and my son had got this like bug thing that he picked up, and it seemed to hit him pretty hard. About 4 days into that, I woke up in the middle of the night and thought, "Oh, I know what this is," and it knocked me for six. I couldn't go to work, and that's really rare for a self-employed person in the construction industry. You've got to be bad to not go and earn your money. No one's paying you if you're not there, type thing. So I was just in bed. I couldn't literally do anything for about 4 days. And on the last morning of that, I picked my phone up. I was sort of okay to pick my phone up again and think, right, what's going on in the world? And then you appeared on my screen, and I watched it. And I've been thinking a lot about this. I'm getting a bit older. If something happens and I'm not earning money, it is actually a bit of a problem moving forwards. I've got responsibilities. I've got bills to pay. The older you get, the more your body starts to hurt a little bit when I'll be laying bricks all day, putting steels in buildings. It's all physical stuff. And a little tweak, when you're young, you jump off the bandstands and everything's fine. You get a bit older, you step down slowly, your knee twists, and it's like, oh, that hurts, and things take a lot longer to heal. So it just kind of, it was all about that timing. I was laying there thinking, this is really bad, isn't it, that I couldn't earn money? And what if, say I broke my arm or something like that? It would be a problem. And I was thinking about, there's got to be other things to do. I'm getting a bit older. And, I was just laying there and I saw that and I thought, oh, you came across as like really honest. And it was just all about that timing. It was sort of fate. So I clicked on your link, and normally I might have looked at that and really thought that's a good idea, but gone to work that day, done with, and then forgotten about it or bottled it, But because I was there and I thought, I'm not working today, I literally clicked it and booked a call with Dave, and he was awesome. Like, all your team are awesome, by the way. But I spoke to Dave and I just thought, I really, really want to do this. And this is timing wise, this has just all fallen into place. So yeah, my missus came home from work that day and I said, well, I'm going to do a course in trading, expecting to have a bit of a row with her and use, every last little bit of whatever I could do to make her think this was a good idea. But she just went, no. She said something really complimentary to me, and I thought, brilliant, I'm doing it. And then I spoke to Dave again, booked another call and signed up.
Yeah, Amazing. No, I mean, to be fair, that usually the conversation with the partner goes the other way in a lot of cases. Most people have the conversation with the partner and then it's like, sorry, I've not got the permission to do it. So the fact that
I
you're
was
able to
expecting it
overcome
to.
that is great.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. So she comes home, and I kind of, we've got responsibilities. I was expecting a bit of that, but to her credit, she was absolutely awesome, and that really gave me that extra little, strike while the iron's hot here. This is your opportunity, and so yeah, there was from that moment on. Really, I just thought, do it now, and like, don't stop.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, of course, timing's one thing, right? I mean, you have to be in the right mindset. You have to be. I mean, if you were working, like you said, you probably wouldn't have actually taken action on this, and we wouldn't be having this conversation today. What I want to kind of understand, because I know a lot of people are going to be watching this, they're probably in the same, very similar situations to yourself. They're thinking of maybe joining. What were the things that I guess Dave on that call said to you, and the things that we were doing that sort of did give you the confidence to say, okay, I think I want to do this? Because I know that I mean a lot of people have these calls and they kind of think, nah, that's not quite for me. So what was it about what we were doing that I guess sort of gave you the confidence to say yes?
Well, for me, it's really realistic and honest, and that's very important to me. I'm not into this get rich quick scheme. A lot of people are going to think these things are a scam. Um, and I just thought there was a lot of emphasis really on lifestyle and improving your lifestyle and your family's lifestyle, not necessarily with the onus on I want to be really rich and successful, but much more about this could give you a lifestyle where you have a bit more freedom, a little bit more money, and a bit more time to do the quality stuff in life. That's what really comes about in all your guys when you're chatting to them. And to me, that's really where I want to be and what I want to be doing. Obviously, we all want a bit more money. That's a no-brainer. The extra, the bit, the option to earn more money is always a good thing. But the lifestyle opportunities that it gives you while you do it are very appealing. And this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. I like the fact that you kind of said, look, if you're prepared to work hard and you can follow rules. I'm naturally a hard-working person, and I can follow rules. I don't know what the rules are yet, but if you tell me what the rules are, I'll do my best to be a good boy and follow them. I know what I'm trying to achieve. There's a goal at the end to get something back. So whatever you put in, you're going to get back. I think I'm a big believer in that. Spent a lot of time telling young people that in a college environment. If you work hard now, you will reap the rewards when you're a bit older.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. I mean, especially working in a college, the guys and girls that you're working with, I mean, they're essentially building a skill now that's going to allow them to go and earn a living for the rest of their life in a lot of cases. So I guess you were very much around that type of, like, well, if I want to go and get the result and I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z, I've got to put the work in now, learn the skills, and then once the skills are acquired, that's kind of the way that I can go about things.
Sure. Yeah.
So moving on from the start, then I guess going to where you are now, kind of exactly how we've sort of planned out this sort of journey. I mean, we say to everyone, 6 months is kind of what we've got to give it. 6 months of hard work, and you're going to get to the stage where you can trade profitably. Obviously, now you're a 100K funded trader. I mean, it's a great achievement to be able to demonstrate that you can actually make those sorts of returns. But in between that period, obviously from starting the training, going through the course, attending the calls, all that sort of stuff, and actually getting to the goal of getting a 100K funded account, what are some of the main struggles do you think that you've had to overcome in that period? What are some of the sort of sticking points that you've sort of faced during that sort of 6 month period?
Well, I think the main thing is the psychological thing of it. So I'm quite an emotional person, and that's really the thing that you've got to nail. The minute you start to, if you let a negative thing magnify, you're going to just start pushing buttons and watching your percent drop, and all the good hard work you've done, you can quickly unload. I blew a demo account in an afternoon once just by being a bit angry. Or, and I think it's a process that you have to go through, though.
For sure.
But yeah, that's the hardest bit. I was okay with kind of the theory of it because I'd spent a lot of time in education, so I understand the way to learn, if that makes sense. You know, what you say it, explain it, I'll read it and write it down, and then it's going to stay in my mind. So I got through the theory side of it quite quick, and you could understand well, everyone's different, but I was quite good at, I could grasp the theory of it relatively quickly. When I actually started trading, that's when you realise, oh, blimey, yeah, you've got to, you know, because you're just looking at, I've never placed a trade before, I didn't know anything about it. But you know, it's really exciting when you you can see it. And you know, you spend all the time at the start watching the screen. It's going up, it's going down, it's doing this, and there's a lot of those sort of barriers that I've found to be the hardest struggles. I mean, they're good struggles because you've got to go through them. You need to learn from your mistakes. You need to be in it and to actually do it. Learning theory of anything's one thing. To then be able to go and do it is really the bit where it tests your mettle. You know, you can't just pretend you're doing it and then blow it. You know.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, 100%. I mean, this is I say this to everyone. I think when you're going through trading, you kind of go through like, I guess, kind of two or I guess three sort of phases. I think, like, obviously when you start, you're sort of very alien to everything. You kind of just digest a load of information, then you start to make sense of the information, and then you can sort of get into a demo account and you start to put it into practice, and then you sort of get to the stage where, oh, I'm profitable. I know what I'm doing now. And you sort of feel like, okay, well, I'm trading, I'm making money. So then you think, like, let's go into a live account. And then all of a sudden, because it's real life, you experience real emotions, and you're like, why can't I do it here? And you sort of got to go through each individual phase of learning, sort of get to the stage where you're profitable, and then you've got to sort of, I guess, restart the process again almost to relearn the sort of key aspects. Like obviously going from the demo to live account, you really that's when psychology is super important. But like you said, if you don't go through it, you're never going to learn it. So it's just really about immersing yourself in it, I think, and just getting that bit of experience so that you understand how to deal with things, and then you can start to, I guess, fall back on the following rules aspect, and then you can actually flow and get some good performance.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, a key thing to that as well, like with those changes, so you're in your demo account and you pass one and then do it again and you think, right, I'll do a challenge. Your mindset changes again at that point. But then when you eventually pass your challenge, it changes again. And what's really key through all those stages is, like, for me, was the mentorship. When I joined the pro group, obviously there's good benefits from that. So the weekly calls, and it just keeps you checking in. But having that mentor thing there. So I went to your London meetup, which was brilliant, day out. Really good to meet all the other people, good age groups and different backgrounds, and we all kind of have a very similar set of things that we're struggling with, you know, and that it makes you just feel okay that you're not the only one that may be struggling with a certain thing. It's pretty normal, and everyone's goes through some similar experiences on their journey. So yeah, that was great. But while I was there, the penny dropped with me that I've joined the pro group, but I wasn't using the best resource that I had, which was Henry. And I was just sitting there, I was listening to all the guys talk, and Henry was saying something. I just thought, why don't I get in touch with him loads more? You know, this is something I should do. And literally from that moment onwards, I mean, I like to check in with him every sort of 2 weeks. And every time I do that, I come away, there's always some just brilliant little snippets. His experience, he always gives me something to think about, something to implement, whether it's ways to get rid of the revenge trading, the over trading, you know. And it's really, you know, it makes it really simple, just makes me stop and think about it. And that's really the key. So every stage, and I remember when he sort of said to me, when you do get funded, the mentoring side of it will kind of change again in what we need to talk about and what we need to cover. And when you know when you do these things, you actually realise, yeah, God, you're kind of doing the same thing in your demo account and your challenge, and then when you're funded, but the mindset behind it all is different. But when you do it, you go, wow, yeah, I see what he means. And it's just it's reassuring to have that person there with the experience.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, we're maybe a couple of years ago, I think last year, we had options where mentorship wasn't included, and you could just buy the training and you could just sort of do it self-paced. But we changed that because we saw the results people were getting when they were engaging with their mentor, and it was just night and day difference. And that's exactly why now everybody gets mentorship when they join, just because it's so powerful. I mean, you can obviously reflect on your own thing and your own journal and your own weekly trade assessments and how you're doing things, but sometimes you just need those experienced eyes just to look over what you're doing, because you kind of get blinded by things. As much as you probably know what you're doing, there's there's usually a few things in there that you just need to get the spotlight shined on, just so you can, okay, that's what I need to think about. And then you can start to work on those individual things that are often the sort of key little markers in there that are what you need to improve on just to get that sort of uptick in performance. And I mean, somebody like Henry, who's I mean, he's been there, done it, walk to walk. He's got the t-shirt. He knows what's needed to be done to get people into position like you are. So 100% mentorship is super important. Now, like most people, you've done this whilst having other commitments in life. You've obviously had a job to go to, you've had work to complete, and often that's a big blocker for a lot of people. They don't know how they could juggle the two things. So how have you managed your trading around other commitments?
Okay, right. So obviously at the start, I was going to work every day, and that's when I was really doing the course and taking in all the theory of it. Just learning. So I'd get home from work and just do an hour or two. I wanted to learn. So that's a huge, everyone that does this should want to learn it. So, you'll make the time if you want to do something. So I'd get home from work, I've got kids and I've got stuff to do, but the missus was pretty understanding, and I could put in an hour or, of an evening and get through it, and then a little bit of extra time at the weekend. So through that stage, I was doing that. Then I started doing some demo accounts, actually trading, and it's hard, if I'm out doing some site bricklaying, I can't really be trading, to be realistic. Kind of what I've looked into in the feedback in the group was it's much harder to do this off your phone. So I've still never placed a trade on my phone. So what I did was, because I'm self-employed, I tried to just kind of, more recently, I've actively stopped taking work. But what I tried to do was just take things as locally as possible I could get, and just say to people, I can't really start till 9, half 9. And I was quite fortunate that some family and friends needed some work done, and they kind of knew what I was trying to do. So I'm very lucky in that way. Not everyone's going to get that opportunity. And then my focus on was trying to get any day off that I could. Make sure I always got that first bit of the London session here, so I could see it, watch it, get some trades in, see what results I was getting. And I've just kind of tailored it to the point where I'd say now for probably the last 2 months, I've just been at home doing it. For me, that was the only way to do it. I think I needed to do it full time and dedicate my time to it. It wasn't going to work having a mobile phone sat on some bricks on the edge of the scaffold. First time,
especially not in the winter.
No, definitely not. But you're just on a recipe for disaster there. You're going to smash your phone. Something's going to go wrong, and you're going to kind of be wasting your time. So I literally, as soon as I'd finished some demo accounts, I went into a challenge, and from as quickly as I could, I made sure I was just at home every day. So I've been for 2 months at least just dedicating all day long to doing this. And before that, I'm not starting till half 9 and work as locally to my house as I could. So normally I'll be leaving at 7 in the morning. So it's just, you can't, I'm not going to be driving along looking at the phone doing it. I'll have a crash. It's just not the way to do things. People don't do that.
No, of course.
I had to sit you need to, for me, you need to be by your screen and be there and be ready. You know, you've got your alarm set, you know what, you might not be doing anything straight away, but when that goes on, you need to be present, you need to be next to your machine, and you need to be watching and waiting for what you might hopefully see.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, there's so many horror stories of people. I personally know people that have been driving to site in their van. Their alert has gone off. They've tried to place the trade and they've pressed buy instead of sell, and they've blown accounts. So
Yeah.
it happens. But I think, I mean, you've done things like, I guess, the sensible way, right? You've not done anything to affect your work whilst you're learning. You've seen potential and understanding and sort of gathering the ability to, okay, this is the process I need to follow. You've then adjusted your life around that to make sure that you're actually able to execute on what you've learned. And then you've now seen that there's potential in what you're doing. There's money to be made. So again, you've made further adjustments to make sure that you can benefit from the last 6 months, the last 4 months of work that you've put in. So it makes perfect sense. I guess it's just a sensible way to do things, right? To make sure that for those 2 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the morning, 100% trading, 100% focus, so that if a trade is there, you're going to make sure you're getting it.
Yeah, and for me, that was it. As soon as I booked this course and joined up, I was very focused that this is what I was going to do. There wasn't really an option in my head that I'd fail, if that makes sense. It's not willy-nilly. When I committed to doing this, I actually thought, I want to do this, and this is my chance to change my lifestyle, change my working lifestyle. And there was nothing really wrong with my working lifestyle. If you're in with a good team of lads doing stuff, it's a right old laugh being a builder, to be honest. It's not that I disliked the job or disliked anything. It's more the factors of getting a bit older. What happens if you can't work or if something happens? And with this, I don't like looking for work, if I'm being honest. And when things are all right, you don't really ever have to, but you never know what's around the corner. You know, a couple of good builders that I work for, they might not have another big job lined up to move on to. So you've just got to, I wanted to change, and it was the right time to do it for me. And as soon as I decided to do it, that was it. I sort of gave it everything I could and massaged everything around it.
Yeah, just fully committed.
Yeah.
Awesome. So obviously I want to touch on the prop firm side of things, because number one, prop firms are something that really not a lot of people know about, especially not if you've never traded before. You probably have no idea what a prop firm is. But I guess it's a way for somebody that doesn't have hundreds of thousands to chuck into the market. It gives you an opportunity to get access to capital that can actually allow you to go and do this full time in a much easier way, I guess. How have you found that process? Because obviously now you're 100K funded. So how have you found the funding process? Have you failed any challenges? How did you find sort of phase 1, phase 2? Walk us through how all of that went.
Okay, yeah. So obviously, I didn't know what prop trading company was. It was only when I joined your guys, I think it's when I was talking to Dave for the first time, and he kind of said, this gave me a little bit of an insight into how it works. Because I don't have the capital to put in myself. I do need to rely on someone else to make this work. And I had no idea about that whole process. So when he sort of explained that to me, I thought, I can really see how this works now and how it's viable. But it does seem a little bit like, that's not real, is it? Well, someone's going to give you some money. Then obviously when you realise that you need to prove to them that you can earn some money. No one's just giving you money if you're a liability on the old risk front, are they? So there's rules, there's conditions. You've got to be responsible and accountable, and you've got to turn up or you're not going to make anything. So once I realised that was an option, I could see what my route was going to be. You do your demo accounts and you get through that, and that gives you that little bit of confidence. You pass a couple of those and you think, I can actually do this. What's going to change? And then you pay to do a challenge. So I failed my first challenge. I might have taken it a little bit too early, or I might have just made a couple of bad choices one day. But yeah, I failed my first challenge, and I took a little bit of time doing it. That's the other thing, there's no time limits, and I'd probably put a little bit of pressure on myself to do this in a certain amount of time. And then I really just sort of realised you don't. Just take the pressure off, and you've got a plan. You're still within that plan. So I took my second challenge, and I think I passed that stage 1 and stage 2 in about 6 weeks. So the stage 1, obviously, it's the first time I'd passed the stage 1. So you're really happy with yourself, and it's a little achievement, and you've done well. And that was getting the 10%. And I'd kind of yo-yoed a little bit. I'd always do really well to start with, and then think, oh, it's going to be great, and then lose a little bit, and then make a bit back, and then lose a bit. So just talking to Henry, my mentor, you work out that there's a couple of little silly trades here that you can just cut out, and you're 1 or 2 trades away from passing, and just wait for the opportunity. Be patient, it will come. So he helped me to eradicate the silly bits and just cut out the little, rather than 2 steps forward, 1 step back, just take 2 forward and wait. And after a couple of calls, it just went in the right direction. So I passed that. I was happy, and then you've only got to make 5%, and you kind of go, oh, right, that should be easy. So I've just made 10, and then I sort of thought to myself, that's probably why they might do it, to catch you out. So you fail the second bit because you're getting cocky, thinking it's only half what I've already done.
Yeah.
And you just got to remember your training, be patient, stay disciplined. These are the key things, aren't they? And as soon as you let that down, you lose 2 trades, and you're in the red to start with, and you're starting every morning on the back foot. Whereas I just had to be patient, just had to wait. So my second phase, I lost my first trade, but I looked at it, and it was a good setup. It was a valid trade. It just didn't go my way. And after all the things that you've been through, you get a bit better at taking that. You've got to be okay at taking that. So I wasn't beating myself up because I'd done something silly. So yeah, I just was patient, and it only took me 6 days to pass stage 2, because
awesome.
I was cutting out all the silly bits, cutting out losing the thing. So I think I've done like 4 trades, and I've done it. And again, that was all because of chatting to Henry and putting little things in place. I was trading every session multiple times when I started.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to work out. You get through that process and eliminate all those silly bits. Work out. You don't have to trade every session, let alone every day. Or every session, and just working yourself into being patient. Sit on your hands. All the things that we get taught to do. And when you put it into practice, you do see the results. And just follow the rules, really. But it is a psychological battle, and there is times when you do get a bit down, but that's life, isn't it? You just at times like that, remember your training, stay focused, don't beat yourself up too much. Come back tomorrow, and whatever you do this afternoon, don't sit there and place another trade. Turn it off and go and do something else. And that's
no, 100%. I mean, I always say that trading is just like an amplification of all of our human emotions all at once. But then the way to be profitable is to kind of do the complete opposite of all of them. So we've got to deal with every single human emotion all at once in an amplified manner. And then we've got to figure out how to do the complete opposite of that in order to get results. So it's you're constantly just reflecting and trying to think really deep into your mind, what am I feeling now? What do I need to actually do? What's the right action? But I guess these challenges are it's like looking yourself in the mirror, right? I've proven I know what I can do because I'm profitable on the demo side. All I need to do now is really understand and learn and think deeply so I can actually stay disciplined. And if I can stay disciplined and if I can not make these emotional decisions, then I know for a fact that I can go and pass it. And I think the achievement is not it's not necessarily to say that you know what you're doing, because you already know what you're doing, right? We can see that from the data. It's to say that you've been through a journey, you've processed emotions, and you've been able to stay disciplined. I think that's really the key thing to take away from it. And It's like we were saying before, you go through these different processes where you constantly have to like, you're doing the same thing, but you've constantly got to learn something new. You've got to go through a different like thought process. And again, it's like phase one's like that, phase two's like that. Even again, I'm sure you're dealing with it right now. When you've got the account, it's like, well, if I make this money on here, I can make X amount of money back. Even that thought process is like, okay, I can't get excited here. I know I'm going to get, I know I'm going to start just chasing the markets because if I make 3% here, then I can take it. It's like you've got to fight all of it, and you're just in a constant battle with your emotions, and it's really just putting yourself through the ringer, I think, a little bit, and just learning how to be completely numb to all of those thoughts. And when you can kind of achieve that, that's when you can really start to see the results. But listen, I won't keep you too long. You've given us a good insight into how you've made this work, and obviously massive congratulations on getting that account passed. One final question from me, and I ask everybody at the end of every single interview that I do. If there was 3 pieces of advice you would give to somebody who is looking to start trading or is currently learning to trade, 3 pieces of advice to help them get to the stage that you've got to now, what would those 3 things be?
Remember your training. Be disciplined. Discipline is key, really, above all other things. So yeah, maybe be disciplined and remember your training. That kind of, they go hand in hand, really. Be honest. So be accountable with yourself and with your mentor. You know, like I let Henry know it's good to celebrate your success when we've made a good trade and the system, we're following the rules. That's great, but it's all the silly ones that you want to tell people that, otherwise they can't help you. So I believe you've got to be honest. You've got to share what you're getting wrong is more important than showing off about what you're doing right. So that's key. Be honest, disciplined, remember your training, and that's it. Turn up every day, work hard.
For sure. No, 100%. And I think everybody kind of comes with the same answers because it's just so true. When you truly understand what that means and where it gets you, it's like, well, you just got to do this. If you can do this, if you've got a good strategy behind you, then the results can come. But yeah, thank you very much for jumping on. I'm sure there's going to be people here that are going to listen to this and relate to it, or it's going to inspire them. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, mate. And yeah, we'll speak again very soon.
Thank you very much. You've made this happen, and like all your team have been really good. I'd recommend this to people. Take the jump. It's well worth it.
Awesome. No worries at all. My pleasure.
No worries.